any other questions, it doesn't have to be about the talk. It can be about what it's like to start your own company.
So how many people worked on this?
4 total.
Okay.
Myself, Jen is our artist. We had a sound designer / composer from Berkeley, Domri, and a level designer, Erickson. So I'm just gonna fire the game up, and you guys can pass it around.
Okay. How did you end up having your own company? What was the process?
It was surprisingly easy. It was surprisingly easy. You find lawyers. You get them. You pay them a lot of money to kind of take care of. No. We're like $500 in the state of Massachusetts to get filed as an LLC. And even then, you technically don't really need to be a company or an LLC unless you're hiring people or in a position where you kind of need to separate yourself from the company financially. But for me, it was just more about the mindset of like, okay, I guess I can leave this cushy job because I think I'm doing something more important, and I think this is a better use of my time.
What kind of plans do you have for future?
Right now, I'm just worrying about getting an Android version and translated version in different languages for Stem Stumper. Then kind of figuring out the next game after that, which is kind of still a mystery.
But did your blind people try it already?
Yeah, we actually spent a lot of time testing with blind people. There's one man in JP, actually near where Jen lives, that I would test in person with all the time, and when we got far along, once our tutorials were set, we sent it out to a lot of people over the web. And it's interesting, blind people pick up the game quicker than sighted people because they actually listen to the instructions and don't skip past it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because we visual.
So I'm starting it up, and I am passing it off to, once it's started up, to you. Here you go.
Did you find that there were, like, I haven't heard of a game, strictly for blind people. Are there others out there that?
So there are others. Kind of the famous ones are Orify and Papa Sangre. Okay. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure of with Stem Stumper is that it didn't feel like it was a game only for blind people.
Oh yeah.
That's why we still have graphics. That's why we still spend a ton of time making it look nice.
Yeah.
Especially considering that a lot of who are legally blind aren't completely blind. They can still have some sight. So still having large graphics and taking into account things like color blindness by having like different outlines and shapes. Yeah, cool. Can be really important.
How challenging it was then?
Excuse me?
How challenging it was to get all those things done? Less than 6 months, I guess.
It was pretty challenging. We kind of made sure to keep the scope really tight. I was wondering how challenging it was from your perspective, Jen.
Yeah.
It was just hard.
I know we didn't really have a concepting stage, and I think that's definitely what we would do again if we had more time.
Yeah, it was definitely like, hey, can you make all this stuff? And I was like, okay. Like, it was definitely like really like boom, 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 like really fast. But the things that were hard, like I said, is working from your home is hard. It's really hard, especially when you have a relationship and animals and TV and internet and like, you know what I mean? It's hard to do. So it's really good to get out of the house. It's good to go to your library, even if you're just sitting there working. It is bad to co-work with your friends who are working on other projects because you just end up screwing around. It's good to see if the person that is hiring you isn't doing anything, and then you guys can kind of meet up for an impromptu co-working venture. But that is the most challenging thing, is working at home. I mean, if you guys think it's hard working at home now doing homework, because I know that was a huge thing for me when I was in school, like, 5 months ago. It's hard doing it for work too. In fact, it's harder because you are setting your own deadlines for a lot of this stuff. And when you set your own goals and deadlines, especially if you're doing it for the first time where it like really, really matters, it's really hard. It's really hard. And you have to kind of just pick yourself up and just do it. Because you have other people depending on you, especially if it's like a small group of people. That means they know where you live, and they know your email, and they know your phone number. And also being on time. Being on time is insanely important. It's something I still struggle with every day. Being on time. Being on time is important. Even if you leave like an hour early, whatever. You know, that's also really important for meetings and co-working and getting things done. And I know that sounds so stupid, but it is so important.
It is.
Even if you're doing silly things like setting your clock back in your house or setting your alarm early, it really works. You should just do it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those things are very hard. Meeting deadlines is hard, and you have to kind of get used to